And there's Vito
On, Ray.
Mielnicki Jr. Vito, how are you, my man?
Doing good. Training camp's going great. I feel great. I can't wait to go on Saturday night, next Saturday night.
10 days away, Vito. Is it crazy to think that finally you get your rematch in just 10 days' time?
Yeah, I mean, since I stepped out of that ring that night on April 17th, that was the first thought that came to my mind. Like, I already knew what was next. My team knew what was next, and it was just a matter of when, where, and that's it. Then we got that done, Prudential Center, July 31st, and we knew, like I said, we knew as soon as I got out of the ring that night what was next, just because that's the kind of fighter I am. A lot of young guys who do go through something like this early on in their career, they would opt this like to do a different route. Maybe just build a record and move past it. But for me, the type of person I am, I understand that this is all a learning curve. I'm still young. I'm still 19. But losing isn't really something that I I don't really accept losing. Like, I never did. Even like as a kid growing up, whether I was playing football, playing basketball, like just for fun, like playing 2K, like that, losing is not something that I am accustomed to doing. So that's why I chose to make this decision to do the rematch in New Jersey live on Fox as a co-main event.
So your whole team, when you got back to the locker room, because I'll be honest with you, when you lost that fight, it shows maturity on your standpoint and the kind of competitor that you are, that right away you want to run it back with this guy, because you could have easily taken a quote-unquote tune-up fight or whatever. And, I mean, I think it just goes to show the kind of fighter that you are. But was your team surprised that when you got to the locker room you said, I want this guy next? Or was that the consensus throughout the entire time, from the moment you walked out of the ring till the time you got to the locker room on April 17th?
Yeah, well, like I said, anyone who knows me knows that they knew what was next. Like, they know who, like, what kind of fighter, what kind of person I am. So they knew what was next. And like I said, I want to thank like Al Heyman and Premier Boxing Champions. They got this done for me. Not many fighters at my age would be doing this, and on the biggest stage, on a co-main event in an 8-rounder on live on Fox. So I want to thank Al Heyman for getting this done in my hometown in front of my family and friends. It's going to be a packed house that night, and I can't wait to put on a show.
Yeah, what is it like? Because even I was talking to, just individuals that live in and around New Jersey, and they were telling me, they're like, man, there's a buzz for this fight. People are excited. Obviously, Michael Coffie, Gerald Washington is the main event, but people are really raving about you. And this is a big fight for you. I mean, you're only 19 years of age,
Absolutely.
but this is a very significant fight. But do you feel the love and the admiration from those within your hometown that are going to come and support you next Saturday, July 31st at the Prudential Center?
Yeah, I mean, just little text messages I've been getting, like just DMs, all that. Everyone's showing their love and support. I know that we sold a lot of tickets for this fight, a lot of ringside tickets. So they're up close near the ring. So it's definitely going to be a fun night. I can't wait. I want to thank everyone for all the support. Even like after my last fight, everyone was showing love. But I think everyone who knows me knew that this was next. And it was when we announced it, a lot of people were surprised, but anyone who knew me really wasn't, because they know what type of time I'm on. So
what happened? What do you feel? Do you feel that, I want to go back to that particular fight on April 17th. First of all, do you feel like the judges' scorecards were correct?
Whether they were or not, I still, I lost the fight. So, I mean, it was obvious that it wasn't the best version of me. And I think that was probably one of the worst nights I've had in my entire boxing career, amateur and professional. And I did score. Obviously, I didn't see the fight as a wide margin scoring. But I think that shows that even on my worst night, that with a 4-week camp, I think proper preparation prevents poor performance. And that was the prime example of that night.
What happened in that fight, Vito? You said it was one of your worst nights. So, I mean, what was it? I mean, was it just that, were you sick? I mean, a lot of guys don't want to admit that they come into fights not totally healthy. I mean, I knew a lot of you guys, most of you guys are very no excuse kind of individuals.
Nah, yeah.
But what happened with you that very night that it was one of the worst versions of yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I have no excuses. Like I said, it just all comes down to preparation. I think James Martin was the better man that night, and it showed. And I just want to – it's going to be a dominant performance July 31st. You're going to get the best version of me. I set up a real camp out in Jersey. I brought in guys like Keyshawn Williams. He's on the card. He's 8-0. Nick Vitone, he's 4-0. My longtime friend that I grew up with in the amateurs, Malik Nelson, he's making his debut on the card. I actually sparred with Chris B-Hop, Primetime Colbert, this week. So we got a real camp. I'm feeling great. My body feels great. I'm mentally, physically, just feeling great. I'm ready to go. So we had an 8-week camp. The right food, right nutrition. I'm just ready to go. I'm ready to make weight and then show out that Saturday night.
Vito, in talking with you, there is this hunger, there is a passion. You've always had it, but this is like a different level of focus and determination, and there is a hunger that I'm seeing out of you. And I've known you since you were an amateur, seeing your father around. Your father, boxing promoter, and he's obviously very proud of you, but I've never seen this kind of hunger from you. Those around you, do they see and hear the same thing?
Well, I mean, I think anyone who went through like that it's definitely after a loss is not, like I said, losing is nothing that I'm accustomed to. It's not something that I'm okay with. So it's definitely a feeling I would never experience again. And, I don't even I'm just so hungry. I'm just ready to go. I've been thinking about this guy for the past 5 months it's been since my fight.
Yeah.
That's all that's been on my mind. I'm a full-time fighter, and that's all I think about is this fight. My family knows what time it is that night. Everyone knows what time it is that's with me and around me on my team.
I feel like if you could go ahead and step in the ring tonight, you would, and fight James Martin. And fast forward to July 31st, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I can't wait. But I all the aspects of the sport, the press conferences, the weigh-in, I like to absorb it all. So everything is going to be a great experience next week, and the rest of this week is going to be great. The following up to the fight.
So it's easy for people to gravitate towards somebody when they're mowing people down and they're undefeated and everything's great, whatever. Sergio Martinez brought up a great point years ago, and he said when he defeated Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., that he had over 1,000 missed calls over the course of the hour following the fight. When he lost to Miguel Cotto at Madison Square Garden, you know where I'm going with this, he had 4 missed calls. 3 of them was from his mother. Yep. So did you see, I mean, you're a young man, you're 19 years old. Did you see people kind of fall off the Vito Mielnicki Jr. bandwagon? Or is that, you keep a tight circle, but I want to know, when a fighter goes through a loss, it's easy to be with someone when they're winning and everything's great. Yeah. And then when they lose, they're not as around as much. Did that happen with you or no?
I mean, I think you hit it right on the head. I have a tight circle. I'm very family oriented. So, my close, my immediate family, that's I really surrounded myself with the same people since I was a kid. But definitely you'll definitely see the different types of versions of people when you're up versus when you're down. I experienced it even this past fight. So you definitely people definitely hop off whatever, the bandwagon or whatever you want to say. But
of course,
this fight isn't for nobody. This fight's for me. I'm doing this for myself just because I take pride in what I do, and I'm taking accountability for what happened on April 17th.
Well, I think you should be commended as well, Vito, because you are running it back right away. Yeah. You're saying, okay, he was the better man that night. I'm going to get him this next time. So absolutely. I think, and you're only 19 years of age. Not many young fighters think in terms of the way that you have your mentality. They don't really think that way, nor do they want to go ahead and roll the dice again.
Yeah, I think that just goes back to the type of person I am. And I mean, I've been preparing for moments like this since I was a kid, since I'm 7 years old. When I first stepped foot in a boxing gym, I've been preparing myself for the stage that I'm going to be on, the moment that I'm going to be in, and I can't wait to just put everything into one and show out on July 31st.
How's your father? I mean, know that your father is like your best friend. I mean, you guys have this amazing chemistry, and I mean, if anybody knows your dad,
hold on,
is.
I'm gonna show you we have a little camp house set up and everything in Jersey, so we got our little setup in here. I'm gonna bring you to some of the guys in the camp too.
Oh, I love it.
So here's Keyshawn.
How you doing?
What's up, Keyshawn? How are you, man?
8-0. He's fighting on the card.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, Nick Vatone.
What's up, Nick? How are you?
4-0. He's gonna be on the card. And then we got my pops, Tyreek Williams, our boy Mike.
What's going on, guys?
But yeah, it's definitely going to be a good night that night. And we got Malik in here as well.
Yo.
What's up, Malik? How are you, man?
What up? What up?
So yeah, like I said, we got a real camp set up, and I'm in the best shape of my life mentally and physically. So can't wait to fight. Can't wait to go.
So is all you're doing right now, Vito, all boxing and stuff, man? I mean, you just showed me that house. And where you guys are, I feel like there are all these boxing minds under one roof, and you guys are preparing yourselves for next Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, you surround yourself with people with the same goal as you and people who are striving for greatness, just like how I am. You're bound to reach those goals and those aspirations that you've had since a kid. So all of us have the same mindset. We all have that's we're ready to go. Like, all of us are on the card. We're all working hard each and every day. We're pushing each other in the gym, and it's been a great camp. It's been a grueling 8 weeks, but it's definitely all going to be worth it in the end.
Vito, no fighter likes to lose, but could this be a blessing in disguise for you? Because I look at it this way. I look at guys like Julian Williams. I look at guys like Jamel Herring. I look at even guys like Jermell Charlo, who came up a little bit short against Tony Harrison. Look what he's been able to do since that defeat. So I think that the whole notion, being undefeated is special, right? But losing is a natural part of sports. You know, very rarely in the NFL do you get these undefeated teams. The same can be said about boxing. In your mind, could this be a blessing in disguise?
Absolutely. I actually want to. Julian Williams reached out to me after my last fight. A lot of guys. Damian Lillard actually reached out to me and just gave his thoughts on what they both gave their thoughts on what they've been through in the past and how they responded. And I think it just all goes back to like how you bounce back at when you're facing adversity. And I think this fight is just going to show people that that I'm different. I like the saying that I'm one of one, and that's just because I'm one of a kind. You know what I mean? So, like you said, all athletes respond and have to respond to a loss, and I think how they respond to that is the best version, is the best description of what type of person they are.
Yeah, because even, when you're winning and stuff, and I've talked to many fighters, but you don't necessarily see some of the things that you should be improving upon because the formula it's succeeding because you are undefeated, but there are these little nuances that you should be fixing. So did this make you go back to the drawing board and say, okay, I want to fix this, I want to fix that, et cetera, et cetera?
Absolutely. I'm good?
Yeah, I'm good. I can hear you. Yeah. So what were you saying?
I definitely, I've watched the most film that I've had throughout my professional career in this fight. So like I said, you see, this is all that, it's everything's boxing. I mean, obviously it definitely gets you, after that fight, you realize that, it gets you off your high horse, I guess you want to say. But I've never been that kind of person anyway. I've always been, a humble kind of guy. And, I mean, I went back to the drawing board. We fixed a lot of things. Still with my main trainer, Mohammed Salam, but we also brought in Lamont Peterson, who is Keyshawn Williams' head coach. He's my chief second. So,
what's that been like? I mean, Lamont, former world champion. I mean, he was in some wars.
Yeah, I mean, Lamont, everything that he says is knowledge. So, I'm always, whenever I'm around Lamont, my ears are always open because everything he says is something that I could add into my arsenal or just pick up and just keep it in the back of my head. So Lamont's been a huge help throughout the camp, and obviously I'm still Mohammed Salam. We're just working each and every day. We're just putting the pieces to the puzzle.
When then also Lamont Peterson comes from the Barry Hunter School. And I mean, Barry Hunter, I think, is one of the best trainers that we have in boxing as well. So be able to get that kind of knowledge with what Lamont was able to accomplish in boxing, I mean, I think, you're not going to find, he is the epitome of a pro's pro. So what are some things that you've learned under Lamont, not strategically, but just mentally and psychologically that you're going to be able to impart in this fight, Vito?
Yeah, I think the main thing is that preparation is probably the most important thing, like in this sport. Like you can't expect to go into a fight off of just not mentally and physically preparing your body for war. Boxing isn't something that your body is meant to be doing. Like your body's not supposed to be getting hit and beat up. That's something that your body gets prepared for in the 8-week camp or whatever, 6 to 8 weeks of a camp. So definitely things like that. Just preparation is probably the most important thing leading up to a fight.
Has it made you meaner, Vito, in the sense that, I've known you forever. You're a great, young man, and you're a humble kid. It's actually surprising to me that you are a fighter because of how nice you are. So, you're a nice kid. I'll be honest with you. You're a nice kid. You come from a great family. I've known your family for years. But did it make you meaner as to be like, no, you know what? It's okay for me to go out and hurt somebody because they're trying to do the same to me.
No, I've always had the edge of whenever I'm in the ring, it's you or me. It's you're either gonna eat or I'm gonna eat. So you know what I mean. I've always had that that's not something that since
killer
this fight
instinct.
happened. I've been doing this since I'm 7 years old. I'm born for this. So this is all just everyone has their own path and everyone is faced with different challenges throughout their career. And I think, like you said, it was a blessing in disguise. I feel like I just brought everything together, maybe go back to the drawing board, and now I'm fighting in front of. I'm back in my hometown fighting at one of the biggest arenas in Jersey, the Prudential Center, live on Fox. So being with the best in the game, Al Heyman and PBC, you get opportunities like this. But I think, like you said, it was a blessing in disguise.
Have you thought about your ring walk, Vito, when you're going to be able to, you put on that robe and you make that long walk and thousands are going to be on their feet? I was in Philadelphia. This is back last year. It seems like forever ago. But I remember when you fought on the undercard of Julian Williams and Jason Rosario, and you probably had about 500 fans at least that made the drive from New Jersey to Philadelphia.
That was during a snowstorm, too, I think. It was during a snowstorm.
Exactly. So, they come out, and your fans make noise. They're on their feet. It's like they're wearing your shirts. Have you thought about that ring walk next Saturday, July 31st, at the Prudential Center, live on Fox?
Yeah, I think ever since we got the information that we were definitely going to be fighting at the Prudential Center. I definitely have thought of that, but really my main, I'm not really focused. I'm so happy that everyone's coming out, but my main focus is James Martin, July 31st. I know it's definitely it's going to be electric in the arena. You probably won't even be able to hear yourself talk that night just because everyone knows how important that this fight is and how big of a fight it is. So it's also the first major boxing fight, I think, back in Jersey since the pandemic. So it's definitely it's going to be an electric night that night in the arena.
How do you see the fight playing out, Vito?
Just a dominant performance. It's gonna be me in there. It's not gonna be it's gonna be the best version of me. So I'm ready for anything he brings, and it's just gonna be a dominant performance.
So I look at you, and then I also look at another. PBC has a very good young group, like this next generation of young fighters. Another guy who I'm high on, even though he suffered his first defeat. This was back, Omar Juarez. Have you guys talked? Did you reach out to him or anything like that? Because I spoke with him after the fight. And again, undefeated records, that's impressive, but it's okay to lose even several times because that's the nature of the sport. Some of the greatest names in the history of the sport have multiple losses. You look at Pacquiao, you look at Barrera, you look at Morales. I mean, that's just off the top of my head. Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward, you can go on and on. But did you talk with Omar Juarez after his defeat? Or, I mean, if you can, what do you want to tell him?
Yeah, I mean, I shot him a little text, obviously. But I think his head's obviously in the right place. He took that was not many guys at his age and with only, what did he have, 11 fights? Would have taken a fight like that on Fox. So, like, I mean, what we're doing, we're almost changing the game. Like, a lot of guys are moved, like, slowly not taking fights just not taking
They're not taking
fights.
risks.
Yeah, not taking risks. So, I mean, he knows. I don't know what his next move is, but he knows, like, I know his mind is in the right place. So, Omar, I would just he knows. I saw him in the gym. He's been in the gym working, and that was like 2 weeks after the loss. So his mind's definitely in the right place.
You know what's funny is that we actually brought you up and we're like, losses happen. Look at Vito. Vito's going to run it back with his guy right away, and everyone's like, he's after it and stuff. So it's great to see this support within the younger generation of guys who, you guys are, supporting each other because. We're trying to grow the sport as much as possible.
Exactly. We're the future of the sport, so might as well build relationships that, like, I was on the same card as Omar. I think I've been on 3 cards with him. So I was with him in the bubble, and just like I said, it seems like even after that fight, his mind is in the right place. He's in the gym working. I saw him training with Mario Barrios. So even guys like Joey Spencer, who's on the card, he's young.
Yeah.
We're all like the future of PBC and Al Heyman stable.
Also, Vito, you're a very big fight fan. I mean, literally, I think you watch more boxing even than I do and stuff like that. And I'm at these fights and stuff. So, who are some guys that you like right now within the sport that are your contemporaries that, you like watching them perform?
Well, my top 3 guys that I watch are Arturo Gatti, Floyd Mayweather, and I'd say Andre Ward. Those are the 3 guys I watch. And Canelo, obviously. Canelo's probably the top guy I watch that I've been watching. But that's a fight I'm looking forward to actually seeing, him and Caleb Plant. Maybe I saw it scheduled maybe for September.
Yes, September 18th.
If that fight happens, I'll definitely be in the house.
Are you going to be in the house for Spence Pacquiao? That's a fight. That's a massive one. August 21st, live on Fox Sports, BBC pay-per-view. I mean, I see you and your dad. You guys come out to some of the big fights and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'll definitely see me there.
What do you think about that fight, Vito?
That's a great fight. Pacquiao, it doesn't seem like age is ever going to catch up to Pacquiao. So I guess like 2 years for somebody having out of the ring, it for some people is like a big deal. But I think for Pacquiao, it's like his body like recovered. Like he's obviously older, so I think in the 2 years his body's been recovering. And obviously Errol, he fought Danny. I was on that card, and I think that fight was good for Errol because he got back to being like comfortable, like since whatever like the incident happened. And I think that was a great fight before fighting Pacquiao, and I think the fans are the winners of that fight. So I don't have a choice of who's going to win.
Well, final 2 question with you, Vito. I'm still buzzing after that Charlo Castaño war for all the gold at 154. What was your takeaway from that fight?
Definitely one of the fights. I think could have been like in the fight of the year candidate. It was definitely that was a great fight. So another fight that I said was a fight of the year candidate was the fight after Omar's fight. On that
Apochi, the FA Apochi fight.
That was a great fight. So, but Charlo and Castaño, I would definitely like to see them run that back too. That fight would be great.
Awesome. Well, Vito, final prediction for you next Saturday, July 31st. How is it going down? You and James Martin, the rematch. People are going to be going crazy. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time, live on Fox. How's it going down, Vito?
Yeah, listen, you don't want to miss this. Just expect a dominant performance. I don't have any. I never do. Like, I never give any specific predictions, but definitely a dominant performance. I hear the guys in the other room talking about sending them to the gulag. We have this little saying that
What is
we
the gulag?
just it's one on. It's like a thing in Call of Duty. It's you or him, and it ain't gonna be. It's him going, not me. So I'm gonna still be staying. I'm gonna be there dominating that night, July 31st. So everyone tune in. The FS1 prelims, the whole card is a great card. Even if you're coming to the fight, I appreciate all your support. Get your tickets because they're selling quick.
Awesome, Vito. Greatly appreciate it, man. I'll see you next week in your hometown of Jersey, man.
Thank
I'm
you, Ray.
excited. Can't
Appreciate
wait,
it.
bro.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.